Today is Wednesday, March 15th, 2017. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is our recap of Survivor Game Changers, Episode 2.
Yeah, the TiVo said 3, so...
But yeah, whatever. We're going with 2.
We're going to go ahead and call it 2.
It's week 2.
Because that's how we scored it.
Yep.
For the JSFL.
And that's the way it
But we understand, and it's okay. You don't need to point it out that it's actually officially saying 3.
Or point it out. I don't
This
care.
episode... This episode's titled Survivor Jackpot. That came from Malcolm. Previously on Survivor, there were 20 big game changers, Probst tells us. And Mana went on a losing streak. It became a battle between the Survivor royalty, Sandra Slater nemesis. And then Probst asked, can she keep her empire intact, knowing full well that will not be the case.
All righty. Anything you object to?
No, nothing new, nothing
rewriting?
twisty.
Okay.
That's fine. You can celebrate Sandra there. She pulled off a really smooth move, so I think that was due. Okay, it's day 7. Come on in, guys, and drop your buffs.
Well, they got to know immediately that something's up when they show up like that and there's no challenge course.
Yeah,
that's pretty much a dead giveaway.
Zeke knew. He was the one that seemed to work it out or to say it. But
probably all knew, but...
I don't know. I think some of them were pretty stunned that Tony was gone. They got their first look, and then there was some definite surprise. But when Probst asked, does anybody know what's going on, Zeke went, oh yeah, we're doing a swap.
So was that even a smarter move, given the shakeup?
They
got rid of Tony?
I don't know that it necessarily mattered at that point. Did you have an opinion on pro or con? Getting rid of it?
I thought it didn't matter either, that it was a good thing because now they might have been going up against him.
Then you're saying it does matter because it was a good thing.
Well, okay, whatever. I got distracted by your mustache hair.
Okay.
You have a long one right there that's gray.
Yeah.
And I just got fixated on it, so I kind of lost my train of thought.
Yeah. You've had a little trouble again with your train of thought today.
Yep.
So you're telling everyone you're squirreling.
Back on that medicine, so.
Yeah.
Has been a little squirrel today.
What did you think about how the tribes worked out?
I was really surprised that they worked out so evenly. I thought,
evenly. Even in what sense?
In the sense that you kind of had equal strength.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't mean so
you
many
mean
from
an
this
overall
tribe,
balance
so many from
of
that.
the tribe.
A balance of strength is what I mean by that.
Strength as defined by?
Their physical abilities.
Oh, so you're saying purely physically they ended up roughly equal?
Yes. Because I thought if you got Ty and Zeke and Varner all on one tribe, you can have weaker males against all the stronger males. But it didn't work out that way. They each got on a different tribe. It was split up pretty good between the physically strong and the physically weaker.
Okay.
That's what I mean by that. I was like, oh, wow, they couldn't have done that any better if they'd done it deliberately.
So like we talked about in the listener feedback show from Next Time on Survivor, they were giving clues that we were headed to 3 tribes. And indeed, there is a new green tribe. So we got new Mana, new Nuku, and then we've got the Tavua.
Yep.
Tavua. And so that ends up being Troyzan against 5 of the old Mana members. Troyzan against Sari, Andrea, Sarah, Zeke, and Ozzy. So where's that old? No, that's old Nuku. My bad.
Yep, mostly old Nuku. Yep.
It was JT that ended up against the 5 Manas. So JT with Michaela, Malcolm, Sandra, Aubrey, and Varner. And then new Mana becomes Debbie, Sierra, Haley, Ty, Brad, and Caleb. So they were in a 2 versus 4 scenario with Haley and Caleb against Debbie, Sierra, based on the original tribes at least.
Yeah, Troy and JT were the only ones that were singular on their tribe from the others. And then, of course, Caleb and Haley. But that was at least a 4-2.
And Ty got a kiss.
Yep. Got two, actually. But.
Well, at this point, he only got the one.
Yes, I know, at this point.
Okay, so Tavua's going to be, once again, that green or yellow tribe, whatever the color ends up being. They got a tough start, basic gear, no camp. They're going to have to hit it again. Michaela, she seemed excited that it wasn't her, and she was quick to point out to Troyzan that...
Oh, you're going to have to start over.
Yeah, you're starting over.
Well, she was praying hard.
After she had just gone through it, yeah.
Because she was really upset about that last time. Blamed
demonstrably
Jeff about it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all your fault, Jeff.
We bounce over to Nuku, and JT introduces them to the trained chickens who were there to clean up the camp, and Malcolm and Varner are just ecstatic. They ended up with the toolkit. They ended up with the supplies.
Shelters.
And this is
decorated.
when you get the title line from Malcolm that he's hit the survivor jackpot.
Well, just think about the rude awakening over at the monotribe about this time.
Mm-hmm.
While they're in awe, the monotribe is going, "Oh man, did you guys do anything?
Right.
This is barely a shelter."
Although it's more than what Tavua has. So
yeah, that's true. That doesn't mean it's
JT's definitely, he's sweating it. He's feeling the pressure.
Yeah.
5-1, he tells us, is bad. He's feeling like a sitting duck, and he's got to get the hidden immunity idol. That's what he's angling towards.
So, do you think it hurt him taking them out there, making an excuse? Nobody bought it. They all figured it out.
Yeah, because he took long enough. He evidently took long enough that it was evident
but it
that
was
something
smart.
was up.
It was smart that he left the pliers behind deliberately.
He had a decent cover story, but he's down 5-1. He knows that. So did it really hurt him? No, I don't think so. I don't think that's enough to completely count him out. He's already somewhat on the outs. So,
but they even fear. Yeah, he's really looking at and through our bags.
I guess I was more surprised than he was actually.
Yeah.
He was going through bags and their clothes and everything, checking. Malcolm busted up the spear. That spear was a mess when he brought it back up.
I wonder if they'd had that happen before, because why did he say he deliberately left the pliers behind then?
Yeah, I would imagine it. That must be those the forks on that spear there must be somewhat malleable.
Yeah.
Because you can see in another shot where Caleb has the one that they get, and it's a bent mess too. So yeah, if you draw back with that Hawaiian sling and slam it into the coral.
Yeah, that's what made me think that wasn't the first time that happened, and JT knew it.
Yeah.
That's why he deliberately left it behind, so he could
I like the plan.
I got to go back. I thought it was clever.
I'm gonna take you out snorkeling, and
and it even looked like Varner appreciated him
to some degree. Sure.
Like, okay, I appreciate he did all that, and it was, he's working.
Yeah.
That's what he should be doing.
Varner tells us he feels like they raided that camp and hijacked it for the day.
Yep.
Because they're out there lounging. But he also concludes with JT is he's in a mess of trouble, which is basically where he started. So I'm not sure, to answer your question, that he's any worse off, really. Okay, over to Numana tribe there on day 7.
Brad must have been the one that decorated over at the other because he's got the same things.
Yeah, we see the theme coming out again, right? These aren't necessarily colored glass globes like the ones that are there at Nuku.
Why wouldn't they use those to collect water? Wouldn't that be a good water storage and water carrier?
Depends on how far you are from it, but they all have personal water carriers. They all have canteens.
Yeah, but you could drink that quickly. Oh, but Tony said they were only like 50 feet from the water, though, right? Because they moved camp or something.
True. At
so
Mana.
50 feet away, then doesn't matter. They don't need to store water.
So Culpepper tells us that he actually likes to decorate, loves to go antiquing with Monica on the weekends. So he's having a good old time. He's going to make their house a home.
Well, okay, we're definitely seeing a very different side of Brad this time. He's not offended me once. I haven't minded him being in the game. So that's a surprise.
He likes to decorate because it helps him relax. And he's having fun, and they've got the numbers. So he's in a pretty good mood. And then they cut to a picture of a snake, and then there's a conversation between Ty and Brad. Who's it going to be?
No, Ty and Caleb.
Ty and Brad.
First.
Ty and Brad are talking about what I'm referring to, where Ty and Brad are talking about the order.
I'm with you.
Keep Debbie over Haley because Debbie's loyal. Brad tells us he feels like Debbie's probably just more loyal.
But Brad really wants to get rid of Caleb first.
Watching Brad in this episode, very impressed. I thought, wow, something different is going on
Monica's really schooled him on how to play, I think.
Oh, okay. You want to give credit to her.
Well, he does. Mm-hmm. So, what would Monica do?
Brad tells us that he's big on Debbie and Ty, so he's working those angles.
Well, he certainly worked Ty pretty good this episode, but we'll get to that later.
Yep, Ty and Caleb get together next in the scene that we get, and Ty's telling Caleb that he had talked to Brad, and Caleb tells us it's good to be back with Ty, and the only connection Caleb tells us he had in his original tribe was to Jeff and Malcolm.
Yeah, I thought
that was a little surprising.
Yeah, it was to me too, because Malcolm, no, but Varner, what that tells me is Varner's playing pretty good game.
Yeah.
Because they think he's with them tight, and I think he's also got other tight alliances. They just don't know about each other.
Ty realizes that he's basically back in that tough spot again on day 7, where there's a betrayal coming, and he's going to have to figure out which way to go.
Yep.
And I'm not sure there's anyone else that ends up being under as much pressure as Ty this early on. So basically, what they're telling at this point in the episode is that Ty is going to be tested, and it's really something to look forward to as this episode continues to evolve. Okay, over to the new camp, Tavua. New home, starting fresh. Zeke tells us it's congenial there, but we know that Troyzan's going as far as he's concerned. He's on the outs, but everyone's playing nice. And Ozzy...
Okay, here's the thing that bothered me about Zeke. We don't have to be nice to him, because he's on the outs, Troy's going, so I don't have to be nice to him.
Well, actually, he was saying that everybody was being nice. That's what he meant by saying congenial. Everyone was playing nice.
They are, but I thought he said he didn't have to.
No, I didn't hear that at all.
Well, we'll have to go back and look at that, because I thought that's what he said, which I thought would be a big mistake.
Troyzan on the outs, but being nice.
No. When you're going to need somebody.
That's right.
Okay.
Ozzy tells us they have more coconuts there.
And palm fronds.
Yep. Than they did in the previous tribe.
And,
over at Nuku.
Okay, Ozzy said, they can't get rid of me, they need me.
Yeah, interesting.
A little bit
take.
Dangerous thinking there.
Cerie's conversation with Zeke was, I guess it helped solidify our understanding of what had gone down in those first 2 episodes, because Cerie clearly says, I wasn't in the numbers in the old tribe, which is what I went ahead and based my choice for vote out on. I figured that she was going to be the one to go, because things weren't trending well for her.
Me too. I didn't know you had voted her, but we voted separately.
Yeah, I mean, we'd gotten the signal that Michaela was having a rough time, Haley was having a rough time, and Cerie were having rough times. So I figured, as far as I was concerned, it was down to those three I needed to make a choice.
And funny, they ended up on opposite tribes.
Yeah, I went ahead and thought, well, go ahead and get rid of the bigger threat potentially in Cerie. That's what I was thinking. But Zeke says, yep, we're safe.
Well,
and Cerie's feeling better.
We have the numbers now. Mm-hmm. So I think she thought she was aligned with Zeke before, but they didn't. And
Ozzy basically confirms. He says, Cerie and I need each other, and Troyzan's looking like an easy out at this point.
Yeah, and both Andrea and Cerie think so too.
Yeah, Andrea's telling us it's a numbers game. Troyzan asks Andrea, "Am I the plague?" Right? Mm-hmm. Oh no, it's nothing that determined, but I really loved his read on this whole thing. Mm-hmm. When he comes back and says, I'm 54, I'm the oldest one, my intuition's good, it's telling me
she's pretending.
She's a little devil. Yeah, and then he goes on he dissed her in the confessional, right? Which is, if you're going to diss someone, do it in a confessional. He says, she may not be as smart or as good at the game as she thinks she is.
She thinks she is.
Yeah.
And then they're all standing around. Andrea's like, we have to watch Troy and don't let him get an idol. And yet they're all right there. They're not following. And he's not.
The editors are making fun of him for sure with that sequence.
And then he runs off and finds a clue, because they said
if it indeed happened that way.
Yeah, but that's...
It was funny.
The story they're sticking to.
Right. That's what the editors chose for us.
Now, it probably wasn't. He could have been across camp for all we know.
It may have happened at a different time, but it seemed like it went down in a humorous way.
Story.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he finds the clue to the hidden immunity idol. So it was indeed, as we had seen, and next time on Survivor, someone on the Green Tribe found it, and it turned out to be him.
So he was very emotional
Yeah,
he
he
found it.
was almost crying when he found it, huh?
Well, yeah. So
'Cause
that means
he
he's
was-
really
he was feeling
invested in the game.
Down and out.
I like him better too.
Yeah.
I really do.
So you're getting a more genuine vibe off
Yeah.
him and Culpepper
Yeah,
this time,
yeah,
huh?
absolutely.
At least at this point.
And actually, nobody's come across as real annoying.
Objectionable to you? Okay.
Yeah, I still am not fond of Andrea, but I still think can be a decent player. But I know a lot of people really love her gameplay. I'm just not as big a fan.
Okay.
But nobody really objects.
Time for a goat rodeo. We're headed, and it's a different kind of goat rodeo than we talk about at the end of the season. We're headed back to the new Nuka tribe. It's day 8, and JT tells us, oh
Goats
yeah,
everywhere.
they're all around here. He says that he's seen at least 6 of them, and he had told the others before that they couldn't catch them, but he knew he could. That was an interesting little bit there that he added, huh?
Well, in part, I think that he needs to prove himself valuable, and that was his way of, oh yeah, I can catch them.
Well, he was clear too that, oh, if I feed Sandra, then I'll keep her happy.
That's
since
right.
she's the one calling the shots. He tells
said
us
that a couple of times, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Sandra
I thought,
says, "There's our meal," and JT's off, and he calls out to Malcolm, and JT grabs the baby, and Malcolm corners the mama goat.
Oh,
And they are good to go. But Malcolm tells us right away, oh, we're not going to kill him. We can't kill
we
him.
can't eat the mama.
Malcolm says this is just the goat version of Bambi.
You know what I really think is that those people are savvy and they're like, the world will hate us. We will lose all our fans. We cannot eat these because of how it will look on TV.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
pretty
that was a part
cynical
of
of
it.
you.
I don't care. It was just how I feel. Is that what that did affect them? Is that they are aware that people be like, oh no, you
Well,
can't
what
eat
did
that
you
little
think about
baby.
Sandra's approach?
She's a realist.
I can't kill it,
Let's-
but I'll
let's
clean
Sandra.
it. I'll help
I'll
gut
clean
it.
I'll certainly eat it. Every bit of it.
My
Why they were putting ears for me to eat.
Exactly. That was as far as she's concerned. They're there for eating.
And then Malcolm's like, oh, she's like that in life. And I thought, oh, Malcolm.
No, that is pretty much the manifestation of how she has been represented in previous seasons.
Yeah, a realist.
As long as it's not me or something for me. And as far as she's concerned, the goat's for her and it needs to be in her tummy.
Yep. Well, I thought Michaela actually was very
Seemed to turn-
level-headed and said, look, we don't need them. We got the chickens. Let's just eat a chicken. And then the guys were like, yeah, we'll just catch another goat. We got a male.
Well, that was with JT saying that. Yeah.
Yep.
The Malcolm and Varner were like, oh no, can't do it.
Sandra was holding on to that baby like, no, I'm not putting this baby down.
Well, she was very
We
clear to
decided
Michaela,
on it.
wasn't she?
Yeah.
Don't get attached to it.
Don't get attached. This is
This is food.
Michaela's like, oh, a little baby.
If they had just gone straight ahead and butchered that and
they would have
cooked
all
it, every
eaten it.
one of them would have eaten it.
Oh, absolutely.
That I don't think there's a one of them that wouldn't have partaken.
Yeah, Varner can say, oh no, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you
You'd
could.
smell it and went, well, you know,
Oh,
I thought
my
I couldn't,
goodness. But hey, it's
Hey,
no longer
my
a baby
tummy's
goat.
taking over.
It's food.
Yeah, it's food.
Yeah, I feel the
They
same way.
spent too
That
long
would be
debating
a
it. Yeah.
struggle, but somebody else would have to kill it. I couldn't do it.
That was certainly a challenging moment for me not being used to it. JT does those kinds of things for a living, and he's just more in touch with that. But when I had to kill that goat when I was out doing my field skills class, and I took the knife and looked it in the eye when I took its life and thanked it for that life and the nourishment that it meant.
Well,
That was a
you were
powerful,
starving out there too.
powerful. Well, we hadn't eaten for 3 days. It's not as bad as these guys, although
No,
they've been
but-
eating along. I'm sure
They weren't hiking all day, every day,
Right.
long days like you were either.
Yeah, but I think they just weren't hungry enough. I think that's probably the deciding
Yeah.
factor at this
Well,
point.
they'd had a good bit of food that they brought from the ships up to this point.
Right. Yep. So, okay, the goats get spared. Maybe someone will get some goat later, but not today. They're just going to go ahead and have the chickens or a chicken. Okay, time for the community challenge. It's day 9 now, so we got a good 3-day cycle with this episode. Big obstacle course is actually a challenge that we've seen before. You got 3 people tethered together. They got to go through this obstacle course, and then 3 people at the end to help solve a puzzle. What do you think? This is a decent challenge, right?
Oh, yeah, it's a tough challenge.
Yeah, so you got to exert some effort. It's certainly not about breaking tiles. The puzzle's not necessarily incredibly difficult, but as you can see, when they go to do it, it's easy to get something wrong.
True.
So JT, Michaela, and Malcolm do the obstacle course.
That's exactly who I thought would do that.
Against Caleb, Ty, and Debbie. A little bit surprised to see Debbie there.
Yeah, and well, even Ty, except they're very limber and small, so it'd be easier for them.
You would have thought they would have potentially had an advantage, especially in that
getting through
bamboo
the small
portion
areas,
obstacle course. Yeah, where you got to squeeze through
if
there.
they needed,
It's almost like
bulk.
they fell into that same assumption, but ended up making things worse for themselves when they chose that lower path. It's like they started off, because they were smaller, they could all get through there quicker, but Caleb ran them almost to a dead end in that.
Yeah, I was really kind of surprised that Sierra didn't run it. But
Yeah, and then on Tavua, in the obstacle course, you had Andrea, Sarah, and Ozzy. Okay, so on the puzzle for Nuku, you end up with Sandra, Aubrey, and Varner. Aubrey's going to do the untying. On New Mana, you had Sierra. She did the untying with Brad and Haley doing the puzzle. And then you had Troyzan doing the untying for Tavua, and Zeke and Sari on the puzzle.
Okay, I want to know why they decided to take Sarah and Andrea. What did Troy have something to do with that? Did he manipulate that so he would get to do the puzzle? So he'd be down there it'd be easier for him to work his way around the table and get the idol?
Yeah, I don't think so. And of course, the clue that he got said he didn't have to be on the puzzle.
No,
And
he just had to work his
when
way
he had
around
decided he was going to have to get back there, it didn't really matter one way or the other, I don't think. All right, so with the exception of Tavua getting off to a little bit of a slow start, they catch up to the puzzle, right? They catch up at the puzzle, rather.
No, actually, Tavua wasn't behind it. Mana was behind all the way.
Right.
Nuku and Tavua went through first,
Well,
through the
Tavua and
Mana came last.
yeah,
And then
they finished at
that
about the same
continued.
time. They started their puzzle at about the same time, is what I was saying. I
Yeah.
guess Troyzan
Yeah.
had some trouble.
They
with
were
the
all
knots,
really
but
close
it was
getting to the
close going
puzzle.
in.
So
Okay.
it was just, whoever solved the puzzle first. But, except Nuku were out front all the way.
I was surprised it was only 2 buckets to get through there. I was thinking they were going to make them go back and forth more times. But
Yeah,
I guess
I
they
did
got
too,
through
but-
it quicker. So, okay.
Or
Trade-offs
they
have to
only
make.
showed 2 so that, for time reasons. Doesn't mean they didn't go back several times.
Could
Just
be, I
means,
suppose.
They
Yeah.
don't always, they have to pick and choose what all they showed.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wouldn't change the outcome.
So Probst tells them that they know what the solution to the puzzle is. It's the logo. So he's actually telling them that, helping them out in that regard while they're working on the puzzle. And Nuku makes it through, and then Tavua thinks they have it. Zeke and Sari think they're done. Turns out no. And
It's a quick fix, though.
yeah, they were just one away. New Mana was just one. It looked like, and he says it even, right, that they were just one board away.
Here's the
from
thing,
being
though.
finished.
When they called being done, when
Brad
Zeke,
stopped.
Brad
didn't he? He appeared
stopped with
yeah.
the puzzle. He didn't continue.
I think that's required.
I don't know. My thought was keep going.
That you got to be on pause. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. That
Because
could
it's
be,
strategically, if you're going to make the choice to call for Jeff, then you should pay the penalty if you're wrong, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
We
but
might
I
be able
noticed
to ask
he stopped.
Caleb about that.
Okay. So, anyway, Mana lost. Was very, very close. But
Yep.
were you surprised that they were the ones that lost?
A little bit, yeah.
We had both chosen Sari, so, we were
I guess the right answer is I was disappointed since I was angling for the other tribe to lose.
you wanted a point. But
Yeah, sure. Or at least an opportunity to get one.
I'm actually happy to see Sari hang around longer and play.
Yeah, there's the flip side of that coin. I'm with you on
I'm
that.
good with that.
Yeah. Okay, so Troyzan makes his play. First, he's eye to eye with Sari across the table. He can't grab it. Then he's eye to eye with Andrea, and then he gets the idea
He's feeling around,
to
but
bow
it's
his
not where he thought.
Yeah. So he hasn't quite latched onto it. and he's looking right in Andrea's eyes and giving his OMGs, and then he looks down. I like that he put his head down to rest it, so he broke contact with Andrea. At first, I thought he was looking in her eyes when he took it, which I thought, wow, that's bold. But it turned out he wasn't when I rewatched
which would
it.
probably make her look away. You know, when someone's not making eye contact, you're more likely to look away. That's right.
So he broke the contact, and she turned, and he got it.
Well, and he kept feeling around. And he felt it. And I was just amazed that he could stick it in his pants and not have it fall
back
through.
out. Yeah,
you know,
he must have got it stuck in his
underwear.
His underwear, yeah.
But I thought, okay, well, hopefully he'll tell them he has to go to the restroom soon so he can go find a better strategic place to put it.
Yeah, get rid of some of that bulk.
He's got on the cargo pants, so...
Yeah, it does help hide it, doesn't it? Okay, so Nuku won first immunity, and that means they get the tarp and then their choice of the 2 comfort items that were available.
They all seem to agree that.
Yeah, they chose the pillows, the hammock, looked like there was a couple blankets there, and some... a couple of Adirondack type chairs that all that was sitting on.
I'm sure that looked, and they obviously have by far the best camp.
Yes.
So that's going to be the luxury camp
It
over
certainly
there.
is. That's definitely the haves camp. Yeah. Then the other 2 are some of the have-nots, it seems like.
So
Tavua, which has the least variety of food sources, ends up with the spices.
Well, it would be good to season the rice with.
Help with the rice.
Any flavor.
Help with some fried coconut.
Sure.
Any of that stuff. It'll give you some variety, which is good.
You've been putting hot sauce on everything lately. I don't know what's up with your taste buds, but you've just been in a hot everything.
I've been watching the First We Feast, the Hot Ones episodes on YouTube where they do interviews. I see. And when what they do is they get these progressively hotter sauces on chicken wings. And for some reason that kicked off a hot, spicy thing for me.
You've certainly been doing that lately.
Yep.
Okay, Debbie said it's all about the numbers, and she believes that her group is rock solid, and Caleb or Haley are leaving.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, I thought, ooh, is that foreshadowing? Debbie's in trouble?
Well, the Sharks are back as we head over to their camp there, still on day 9.
Yeah.
And the sad seafaring violins kick in. I have really enjoyed the music, that the seafaring, sea chanty kind of thing. And then my favorite part's coming up. I'll mention that in a second. But so you got the sad violins, and Haley tells us that it's going to be a miracle if she's there tomorrow.
Yep, it's just the unthinkable has happened.
Yep, Caleb's all about going strong.
So Debbie, Ty, and Sierra are the 3 off discussing on their own. You think that means anything for the others, or for who's missing? Troy.
You know what's interesting looking at this episode?
No,
who
not
seems
Troy.
to be the most? You keep mixing the tribes up there. Like I was doing before. It's easy to do after the shuffle.
Ozzy.
Who seems most connected at this point in this tribe? Ty.
Ty seems to have a relationship.
He's shown talking
with the girls and with
Brad and Caleb.
Everyone.
Yeah, maybe not Haley. But he's shown talking to the most amount of people in this episode. Let's say it that way.
They're like, maybe Brad and the girls thought we need to let Ty think he's making the decision, and we'll just kind of. I think Ty is just very. I don't know what word to use exactly.
I always call him windsocks.
Okay, yeah. Whoever speaks to him last, he's kind of.
Whoever whispers in his ear.
They can manipulate him really easily.
He tends to go that way. We've come across players in Survivor like that before. So they seem to be agreeing on Haley at this point. And Sierra says, just adding on to that, even though we were in the same season, I have no relationship with Haley. So there's nothing there. She's very clear. Yeah. So
more than once.
Not necessarily out after the game or anything. She's got no connection to her.
She didn't have a connection in her season,
she's concerned,
and she still doesn't.
Right. She's concerned about the Ty-Caleb connection.
So don't worry about me and her.
And Debbie concurs in her confessional portion, too. Past relationships matter. Brad tells us that Haley's a better choice, but he's certainly worried about Ty and Caleb and Haley. And he waits and gets Ty by himself, and he tells him, Caleb hurts your game. I really liked how Brad was working Ty here.
Well, and I like that he's like, I don't want to be the chief, so I'm going to let Ty decide that.
You know who else liked what Brad was saying?
Who?
Ty. Ty tells us that Brad had given him valuable advice as he was sitting there covered in sand. And Ty, once again, he circles back to he's struggling because there's a betrayal coming.
Yeah, and don't you want to win? Think ahead. Think to the end. Blah, blah, blah. Obviously, Ty bought all that.
And this is when my favorite part of the soundtrack and the music, and we got it in the last episodes too, these war horns that are warning that battle's coming, a disaster's coming, death is coming, someone's torch is going to get snuffed. I just really like these horns trumpeting there as they head into tribal council.
Yeah, my thought was, Ty, why is Caleb a bigger threat than Brad after the merge?
Other than his connection to Ty. Yeah, but he's not questioning it, is what you're saying.
Strength-wise, yeah.
Well, Caleb's viewed as younger, stronger.
Yeah.
I think, again, to Brad's credit, that he seems to be managing that perception. Great. So
I had a lot more respect for Brad, and I can't believe that just came out my mouth, but I have. I got to give him that. When he does something that I think is good play, then okay.
Good on you.
I can eat my words.
Especially good on Brad in the context of his Survivor
I enjoyed
game.
him in this episode. Oh, my God. I just said that. Okay. Tribal Council.
Fire represents life. For those of you who hadn't been here twice already, grab your fire. Yeah, that's got to be hurting for Caleb and Haley, huh?
Yep.
3 times. Whew,
bam, bam, bam. Yes. 3 up, 3 down.
So we asked Debbie, hey, what about this co-wrong connection here? Isn't that unnerving?
Yeah, Jeff starts right in with that.
Yep, Ty's worried. Caleb, yes, but we didn't start together. There could be other connections that have been made. So Caleb seems to do a decent job of trying to deflect there.
Mm-hmm. And Sierra just says right out she has a huge concern about Ty and Caleb. So I think they kind of put a little bit of pressure on Ty, thinking, well, we don't know if you really want to keep Caleb that much. Can we really trust you?
Right. And she just adds, for emphasis, she says, Haley and I have no connection.
Exactly.
And Haley tells us at this point that Caleb's got more angles to work. He's got more going on in the game than she does.
She was fighting. He's a bigger threat. He's got more angles to work than me.
Caleb tries to emphasize his strengths over her weaknesses.
Well, and Brad points out that they both bring value to the challenge.
He gave her a nice compliment, right?
Okay, he did.
She's a budding attorney, and she's off to a good start.
Come on, Brad.
No, he didn't lay it on too thick. I don't think that was too much.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, Caleb, Haley, who's going to get picked in a schoolyard pet?
Yeah.
Yeah. Brad would not choose Haley.
Well, it depends on what they were about to go do.
He would not choose Haley.
Okay. You're assuming that it's physical.
Yes. He still would. I think he would choose Caleb with anything, probably. But anyway, I understand what he was doing.
Ty gave a really good response when he got questioned about what kind of choice he was going to be making at Tribal Council that night. He said he had to focus on the big picture, and loyalty and trust are important. So you're thinking, well, who's he loyal to, Brad or Caleb? And who's he trusting?
Caleb is still fighting. They know I'm an asset, and I don't have alliances on the other side like Haley does. Mm-hmm. So...
Yeah, I don't think she did as good responding to that one, but turns out the votes were in her favor in a sense that Caleb's the one who ends up unanimously going home. Not before Ty gets one more kiss on the head from Caleb, though.
Yep.
For this goodbye.
And he wishes him good luck.
Yep.
So he didn't hold it against him.
No. So he ends up going out on day 9 again, just on better terms this time, not on a stretcher.
Yeah, I didn't. You thought he was going out sooner.
Yeah, I was thinking that he had left a little later on the medical. I didn't realize it was day 9, but I think that season they were doing more 2-day cycles.
Yeah, he pointed that out right away. Going out last time on day 9 and again on day 9.
Right.
That had to be frustrating, but... Okay,
what did you think about the result? Ended up losing Caleb.
I was really surprised, actually.
Yeah.
I just hadn't thought about them getting rid of him this soon.
I'm with you. I thought it was an easy choice to get rid of Haley, and that they would be a little more focused on staying together.
You know why
playing
they
the
didn't?
long game right now didn't seem like it
Yeah.
made sense to me.
I thought, don't you just want to survive however long this tribe?
Maybe to Ty's credit, I want to give Ty credit too, because I've take credit away from him, or I question his ability to play the game frequently. But to his credit, I think he read the room, which is what you ideally want to be able to do, and made the right choice.
Well,
And
he basically said, I'm with you. You can trust me.
I think he'll end up better off. I don't think he needed Caleb's loyalty, and Caleb's loyalty would have only gone so far anyway.
Why wouldn't they keep him around if they feel like they can manipulate him to their opinion?
Now, in classic Survivor context, you will frequently end up ruining your choice come next challenge.
True.
Right? Because it'll be something that you think, wow, if only we had so-and-so, that might have been the deciding factor. It just seems to go that way many times with the immunity challenges.
Well, and here's the thing that I kind of expect they'll have after next week, they're going to flip them again, I think, because that'll be 3 people gone home, and I think they'll flip them again before the merge.
And stay in 3 or go to 2?
How many would that be? So this week they're down 1,
18. So
2,
they
3.
they're at
So it would
17.
shave 1. So
But
there would
next
only
week,
be.
we know next week there's only 1 winner at the immunity challenge, so 2 more are
Yeah,
going to
no,
go.
that's what I'm saying. 2 more are going to go next
16.
week. That's why
So you're saying you think in episode 4 or 2 episodes from now they're going to
in
shuffle back to 2
episode
tribes?
5, I was thinking they could shuffle back to either 2 or switch up the 3. They could easily switch up the 3 and then just wait and go back to 2 at the merge. So I won't be surprised if there's another swap before the merge. I just kind of think there will be. I don't know why. I just do. I think they're going to try to really keep them on their toes this season.
So did we get that math right? There's 3 gone now, right? There's 2 more going in the next episode.
Yeah, that's 5.
So that's 5, so that gives you 15. So that's why you're saying episode 5 after they get rid of 1 more, right?
Yes, because they started out with 18, and then you take 3 away from that, you still got 15 people. They could shuffle them again to
7
5
and
people.
7, or 3 5s.
3 5s,
Okay,
yes.
3 5s,
Well, it
or
wouldn't
wait and
be-
go 7 and
it would-
7.
Yeah, they could wait and go 7. So either way, I think there's going to just be another swap. before they have
Okay,
to-
next time on Survivor.
JT starts an uprising, according to Jeff.
Yeah, he's talking to Malcolm, says Sandra is dangerous. Now that's supposed to potentially tell you that JT is going to go. Because you cross the queen, you're out of here.
That has often been the case. Most of the time. So,
But there's going to be another twist coming, like we were just talking about. Probst tells us that both tribes are going to go to tribal council. So I'm assuming they go to the immunity challenge, and the 2, there's only going to be 1 winner, and the other 2 are going to go to tribal.
Yeah. And JT had told us in the confessional that he could change the course of this game, which does, like you say, make me worry for him.
Well, he's basically in a corner, right? His back's against the wall.
Yep.
So he's hoping for something like that.
Well,
for sure.
especially with 2 tribes going to, tribal. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, goodness. So I guess we'll have double vote off again next week, huh?
Yeah, another double interview, perhaps, most likely.
Yep.
Anything else you want to add to next time on Survivor?
I kind of thought Ty said there's going to be fireworks tonight, but that could have been something he said before they went to tribal council tonight.
Yeah, because your first instinct is, whoa, are you saying that Ty's on the tribe that loses?
Yeah.
know,
And I
so-
thought, oh, that kind of feels like
Are they going to go
that's
again?
something he said before this tribal.
Yeah.
So we'll find out
Could
next
be a little bit of a
week.
misdirect.
And again,
do you
another unanimous vote.
Mm-hmm. Who do you think, who are the next 2 that'll end up going?
Oh, goodness.
So JT's
Well,
going to
you
cross
gotta
Sandra.
Yeah.
Somehow you think the new Nuku is going to lose? Even though they did so well, they
They
got
did
comfort, they got
really
food,
well.
they're in the best possible position.
I don't really know. You didn't notice the background of the challenge and what that might be, but
Yeah, I don't know that there was a lot of clue yet in that regard.
yeah, I don't know. Well, if the Green Tribe loses, definitely, I think Haley will go. I think that's pretty much given.
She's not on the Green Tribe.
Oh, not the Green Tribe, the Mono Tribe.
That's Green Tribe is
Yeah, you're right.
Troyzan.
Troyzan. Yeah.
Yeah.
monotribe. And if
Yeah, I think Haley's at risk, and I think Troyzan may play an idol on someone if the Green Tribe loses.
And would he take out Andrea since he sees her as dangerous?
Or one of his bigger threats in Suri. I'm going with Haley and Suri right now. Because if Suri were, maybe she's course corrected. She's not running around talking to people and telling them that she's doing them favors.
Yeah, maybe she has. And Zeke seems to want to work with her, but we know he would cut her throat in a second.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that would be interesting. I could see everybody going after Troy, but if Troy was on his own and played the idol, then he would decide.
Yeah, it's his choice.
Who goes. And I don't know if he's as threatened by Suri right now as him saying how dangerous Andrea was, and he just didn't seem to.
I think that was because he had that one conversation with her, though. I mean, they showed that exchange that they had, and she just kind of annoyed him.
Yeah.
Because he's very pro on his ability to read what's going down right now. So he thinks he's got a solid
Would he
read
go
on
after
people.
somebody like Ozzy just to weaken the tribe so that they needed him more?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think he wants Ozzy around.
I would.
So of the choices that he has, I think it's between Andrea and Suri. And I'm thinking he's going to take out Suri because that's more significant.
So if it were
That's
Nuku,
definitely something for your resume right there.
Yeah, so you're saying you think if Nuku goes that JT and Sandra are going to fight it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And most likely JT loses if indeed she's doing as well as she thinks she is.
Yeah, if they want the numbers, JT certainly would be harder to beat if they think they're going to emerge next.
Why would they think they were going to emerge next? They're not
Well,
near
not
merge
next
numbers.
week, but I'm thinking, down the road. That these fit like they were looking down the road
Well, this
after merge with Ty.
the new Mana was. I don't know necessarily.
Well,
if
they may all be looking further down the road
Nuku is.
than new people would.
But I think Varner and Malcolm would potentially entertain getting rid of Sandra, and we've already seen that Michaela would consider it if the numbers were there. So that could be a really great showdown.
However, Malcolm wants he wants meat shields in front of him. Well, both Sandra and JT
Offer something in that
offer
regard.
something, yes.
Yeah.
So,
They offer something to hide behind, just in
Yes.
different contexts.
and certainly I would think Aubrey would just want either one of them.
From the
She'd
big
want to get
game
behind
hunter,
them.
the big game hunter side of things, taking out Sandra now is significant. You're definitely making your bones there if you take her out. So
Yeah. So you get
it's
points for JT too because he's your strength. But
not as much. So flipping the tables on her, assuming she's not being too cocky. We saw her adapt to the
I don't wanna hear
situation.
it.
She read the room. You didn't pick her. You should be more worried about Aubrey. You didn't go with your heart.
I know, but I don't care if she wins. I'm happy if she wins too. So
Yeah.
I'm still cheering for her and Aubrey. So
Well, I think that's an interesting face-off between her and JT for sure.
yeah, I think
To
so
see if he
too.
might
But
can win the support.
I don't know. I think JT could lose that one, but we'll see. Okay,
How about a JSFL update?
we have 5 people tied for first in JSFL.
Yep, not uncommon
That's-
this early in the game
No, it is uncommon
to have
Usually
a lot of people tied for first.
There's
No?
only 5. Usually there's way more.
Oh, well, I consider
I don't
5 a
know
lot.
what you're thinking. No, it's usually weeks out before you get narrowed down that much. Okay, anyway, back to JSFL. 21 people lost their USB 24.
Okay.
16 people, congratulations, earned a vote
I
off
did
point.
expect that number to be low given
Yeah, I
how
did too.
uncertain it was.
And 114 people lost a safe point.
There was definitely reason to think that
Yes.
he would be safe
I
and kept around.
honestly did not know at that time. I thought, I don't remember who I have safe.
Yeah.
You and I both went, did I have them safe? I
Yeah.
don't know. So, okay, as far as the challengers, Iron Dave is still in first with 11 points. With 10 points, Cold Mike, Drew, Jeremiah, and Jonathan. 9 points, Hubaloo, James and Shannon, Nina and Stacy. Right in the middle, baby.
Yep.
With
That's where
8,
I'm going to win from.
Yeah. With 8 points, Brandon, Parker, and Seth. And with 7, Jody.
All right. Way to go, Jody. You're trending excellent, exactly as I expected.
God. Get him, Jody.
Anything you'd like to add?
No,
Well-
you make me speechless.
I'm looking for. I know. I have that effect on you, don't
Yeah, in so many ways.
I? Oh, well, we're certainly looking forward to hearing your thoughts on how this played out. Who do you think deserves the most improved castaway at the end of this episode? I got to give it to Culpepper. I was seriously impressed with how he appeared to manage that new tribe. And from a most improved perspective, he seems like he's got that nailed. Ty came off pretty well, too. He's struggling a lot. He doesn't have as clear a path, but Culpepper seemed to have it.
He comes off better to me than Ty right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, because he had his read on the situation and followed through with it, and he was relaxing, and he worked strategically, and, he didn't do well in the puzzle, but they were close.
Actually,
surprisingly
he did
close.
pretty well. They were neck and neck.
Right, one board away, they told us, from finishing. So, But on the whole, in terms of the context of the game, most improved for sure.
Well, he certainly surprised me the most.
Yep, so we're looking forward to hearing your assessment of how the Castaways are doing as they are down to 17 now, and who you think are going to be the next 2 to go. Sounds like another double elimination coming if we understood what Probst was saying correctly. Next time on Survivor, looking forward to all that. We had an outstanding, just a fantastic listener feedback show after the last episode. I'm stoked. I'm looking forward to the next one on Saturday. We'll get an interview with Caleb out tomorrow, and then we'll put together that show on Saturday. Get your feedback in by noon Pacific time, whether you write it or record it or call it in. Keep it in that 3-minute range so we can get everybody in there. That ended up being a long show, but I enjoyed it all. You said there was, 30, 31 last week? And we've already got a couple. Before we sat down to do the show, we saw it looked like we had a couple feedback that had already come in from some early folks.
We had a couple audios.
Yeah, so that voicemail line, 206-350-1547. And there's a toll-free version if you need that, 844-643-8737. The email, joanneandstacyshow@gmail.com. I just want to remind everyone, if you do, the voicemail is super convenient. You can be in your car, you can be waiting somewhere. We had folks last week in both those situations, and they're able to they get a few minutes and they're able to share their thoughts. But here's what I want to remind you to do. Focus on where your mouth is and where the phone is, right? I think we've got some people who are maybe looking away while they're thinking, and their voice drops out, and I have to go in and amplify each individual syllable to try to get it back when that kind of thing happens. There's a little bit of risk that you could end up with a bad connection too, but don't worry about stumbling over your words or anything like that. Just start over. I take care of all that in the edit, and if you pause, whatever. Folks, a lot of the veterans know. I think Jeremiah had some guidance for me in his audio. He's, okay, let's cut that part and we'll keep this. And I'm great with that kind of stuff. So don't stress about it. A pause makes it easy to see those things. And remember to focus on where you and the microphone are, and so that we can hear you. It's just a little more challenging.
Not too close, not too far away.
Yeah, it's easy to talk too much into it. We've had some of that going on recently too. So your voice comes in, it overpowers it, and there's not anything I can do to really recover that. I can cut out the rumble of your big truck engine while you're driving along, but if you overdrive the little microphone in your phone, I can't clean that up. At least I don't know how to.
That's what we do. We know. If we flub something really bad, or Stacy left the receiver on the TV, and in the middle of recording, the TV comes on, the audio, and
you're sharing all our behind-the-scenes stories now, huh? Okay.
We just stop, be quiet,
give it a few seconds,
a pause,
and I can see it real easily in the audio editor.
He can go right there because you can see it. And it's an easy fix then.
Those are really easy. Just
so you make a mistake.
Don't stress about it. Yeah, think about where you are, where your phone is, if you're recording or on your computer, all that. Make sure you get as good a recording as possible.
You can wipe out pauses like in a flash.
It's automatic. Yeah. I use a function to delete long pauses.
Yeah, so you never have to worry about that because he has to do that with me. I'll be like, So then I have
none
to
of
be
that's
quiet.
a problem. Yeah, it's better to have a silent pause than it is to have filler words like that.
You taught me that because I sometimes lead.
Oh, we all do
filler words.
Yeah, we all do filler words. I'm not saying it's a major thing. Again, don't want people to stress. Just want to give a little guidance to help them get the best possible result in their feedback.
You had to train me to not say, anyway.
Okay.
Remember
You're
that?
pretty clear that you're not doing that, huh?
I don't know.
Anyway,
You edit,
so
do
but
I
yes,
thought I had
we both
stopped doing that years ago, but
we don't do it as much as we used to, but we both still do it. It's ours are
we
a
just
lot longer
change
and
'em.
harder to find. I don't go word by word through. I don't give
because we talk so much.
your and my recordings as much attention as I give the listener feedback show. Have a good time with your feedback and let us know. We look forward to hearing what you thought about this episode. Anything else you'd like to add?
Nope, that does it. Good night, everybody.
Have a good one.